Hi guys, today I'm going to do a pour on a small porcelain tile. It's a very slick surface, so it's really nice to paint on. I made sure that I scrubbed it really well so it's nice and smooth, but to be honest, there's, you'll probably be a little blob of paint or a fly going in anyway. So, oh, look who's here. Somebody's trying to say hello. I don't know if you can see him, but little Elliot's passing by. Anyway, he says hello. Okay, so today I'm going to use 3 colors. I am going to use Winsor & Newton Galeria paint. This is in, what's the name of this one? Cadmium Yellow Medium Hue. I also have the Cerulean Blue Hue and the Quinacridone Magenta in Liquitex Basics. So I'm going to use just paint and water this time. And we'll do a Dutch pour. So first a little bit of paint, a little bit of this yellow. I'm not going to need much, so just a little bit of that. Bit of the blue. This paint is quite thick. And so is the Liquitex Basic. So roughly equal amount of all 3 in 1 cup. And then a little bit of water. Got some paddle pop sticks. Just a little bit to make it flow a little, so we'll see. It may take a little time to mix up. This may be a little bit too much water, we'll see. If you find that the paint seems to kind of break up and go into lumps a little bit, this happened to me a few times. If I keep mixing it, then and I'm patient with it, I find that it mixes fine in the end. So don't panic if it happens to you. So just a bit of water. So it seemed like a lot of water at first, but actually not that much. Once it's mixed in, it's still quite thick, as you can see. So that's sorry, you couldn't see that. That's way too thick. It just comes off in blocks. So I'm going to add a little bit more. And do the same with all my paints until I'll show you the consistency I'm going for with this one. Still maybe a bit lumpy. Getting there, just a touch more, just so it sort of falls off the stick. No lumps. So it's best to add your water little by little instead of a lot in one go. Okay, that's a little bit more liquid. Don't know if you guys can see. It's kind of liquid but not too watery either. So I'm just going to pause the video, mix up my other 2 colors and come back to you. Okay, all my 3 colors are mixed up. If you're having trouble understanding what the right consistency is, that's something that I've had a bit of trouble with as well when I started up and looking at everyone's videos. It's just, everyone says the consistency of warm honey, and I was like, well, yeah, I guess, but it doesn't really help that much. The best thing I can explain is basically your paint is very fluid and liquid, but it still feels a little thick when you mix it up. It's basically, you can pick it up with your stick, but when you pour it, it just flows off the stick. If it was too liquid at the bottom, almost like a water consistency, then it'll be too liquid. But if it still looks fluid and a little bit thick at the same time, falls off your stick, you know, pours off your stick. I don't have much paint here to show you, but you get the idea. Then that's the best way I can explain. To be honest, unless you do it yourself a few times, then you'll start understanding, and looking at the paint, you'll understand what it means. So let's keep moving. I'm going to add some white on here. Hopefully I have enough. We'll cover the whole thing in white first. Let's see if that's enough to cover that up. I'm really not going to care about my edges, really. I'm interested in the main show, not the edges. Just make that smooth-ish. And then I'm going to torch it in case there's little air bubbles. And there usually are a few, of course. Okay, that'll do for now. Now let's do, so when you do a Dutch pour, usually you don't need a lot of paint at all. The white is going to do most of the work. So I'm going to do that. Bit of the pink. Overlapping, but not too much. And some of the yellow. That's it. You can actually see things are kind of reacting a little bit. Not really quite cells, but they're making a really pretty pattern down here. Just going to torch that. Actually, my bad. I'll take that back. There are a few little yellow cells coming up. This is, you know, about to get messy, so make sure you protect your surface. Add a bit more white. Oops, not on it, just around it. There. Just going to pause and get a piece of cardboard to protect this area there. I have no illusions. I know that paint will go everywhere. It always flies. But, you know, we'll protect what we can. Then I'm going to put my hairdryer on cool setting. And on high. I'm going to first push the paint this way and then back this way. Probably these corners. We'll see what happens. I'm now going to try to keep doing this because in previous experiments I have overdone it. Well, just blow dry and blow dry and blow dry, and then all mixes up and gives you a big giant mess. So the trick is to usually try to do it as, you know, as few passes as possible. And I love having some of the white negative space. I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to leave it that way. I'm just going to blow the paint a little bit more closely with my straw, that's what it's called, just to cover that little corner here and these edges there. Actually, there's still some white under there. I'm going to use that to my advantage and add a little bit more of the negative space. So I think the trick with this technique is actually to leave some negative space because it just looks so pretty. So don't try to cover the whole thing up. And I didn't do my hair today, so I hope you can't see the top of my head. It's definitely quite a lot of paint on there, but I'm not going to get tempted and tilt it or anything. I'm just going to leave it. As I said, I've overdone it so many times before, but I have learned my lesson after all. Okay, we're getting some little cells here. There are a few there. Let's torch and see. Beautiful mini cells that give you some depth. I really love those little mini ones popping up. I think they're beautiful. And I'm going to leave that edge here because it looks like the petals of a flower. I'm just going to do something around here. And as I said, don't overdo it. It's really easy to do that. Even now I have to stop myself from, you know, doing too much. So that's pretty much it, I think. Maybe I'll blow that one a little bit further to the edge. Just so it feels a bit more natural, I guess. See what I mean by overdoing it? Just can't help it, can I? It's too late. Now I have to keep doing this. As long as I keep some of the white there, then I'm happy. Just trying to get the little fine line to sort of end up in little lines, not so much big chunks. So when you keep pushing them into the white paint, they sort of disappear and give you some really fine lines, which is really pretty. Okay, that's it. No more. I'm gonna bring you down so you can have a quick look up close. It's beautiful. Love it. There we go. So full piece and up close. This reddish orange area is really vibrant, especially next to the white and the pink. Love that bit of blue that's just appeared in between there, the yellow and the pink. Apologize about the glare. It's kind of impossible to avoid with the light and the shiny white paint. Love those little white cells. They're so pretty. And like I said, they give a lot of dimension to your art, I find. So this is it, guys. What do you think? Do you like this one? Let me know. Leave me a comment and a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoyed this video. Bye for now.